Welcome, everybody. Welcome, guests, new faces, friendly faces, faces that we've seen and loved. I love it. So, Advisor Rome will be doing a roll call in the background, and again, we do not have minutes. Not my my highlight to have to say that, but we do have the agenda for tonight that needs to be passed. So that was sent out in an email, and for our guests, that is on our website, on our main page, if you'd like to view that as well. So I will entertain a motion at any time to approve the agenda. And hi to you as well. Aleem, Senator Saeed, is that a motion?
Yeah, it is.
All right, motion's been made by Senator Saeed. Do we have a second? I'm going to give that to Senator Yildiz. And all those in favor, use the hand raising feature now and keep them up. Okay, and you can put them down. And all those opposed, you can put your hands up now. All right, and down. And any abstentions? And you can put them down. All right, and I believe that motion has passed. I don't know what that was, Sarah Zebel. Do you have a question that you would like to say, or you found out? All right, cool. All right, awesome. Let's keep it moving then. The agenda has been passed for tonight. Now, public comments. Lucia Nunez, welcome, and I'm going to let you take it away.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate being able to speak to you. And it feels like it was just yesterday when I was last with you. We take turns with cabinet for some of the new members. So my message today comes from Vice President Tim Casper, as well as Provost Terina Bakken, as we think about upcoming course registration for 21-22 school year for those of you that continue on. Fall 2021 classes are available for viewing and searching on my Madison College website. And you can take a look at those offerings. And of course, you know, there's still going to be some refining and changing and adapting. So keep an eye on that. So that's going to be available. And then you'll be able to do some enrollment appointments by March 23rd. That's the week after spring break, next week. And I'm going to put some links in the chat. You received this letter with all the links from Vice President Casper and Provost Bakken. But again, I'm going to put them in the chat with some other links to advising if you want an appointment, or enrollment services, the telephone number, as well as the link there. I'm sure you've talked about it, but get the word out since classes are available. You know, and you can start browsing and seeing what's next if you continue your journey with us. So looking forward to next year already. It's hard to think about that. So thank you very much for the time. And I'm going to stick around because I want to see the inclusive language presentation from the DCRC.
Awesome. And do we have any questions for Lucia Nunez? Doesn't look like it. All right. Well, yeah, thank you. It's better to keep this information going and circulating. And yeah, I've already started looking at classes for the fall myself. So please, everyone, check it out and use your advisors. They're there for a reason. So cool. Again, thank you, Lucia. And yeah, now let's move it down to the DCRC Inclusive Language Guidelines. Please take it away.
Hi, I'm Kristen Muir. I want to say hi, Barbara. How are you?
Great. Hi.
Hi. Good to see you. All right. Myself and Magda are here. We are part of a DCRC subcommittee that has been looking at the question of language at the college. We have a brief presentation for you, and then we are hoping to get your feedback on the language guidelines that you should have received. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I simply want to acknowledge that this will be the third time Katrina has seen this presentation. Thank you for your patience, Katrina. All right, at this point, you should see a slide. Can you see the slide?
I can, yes.
Thank you. All right. So the issue we were grappling with is that language in internal and external communication can make members of the college community feel either welcome or excluded. The college lacks any guidelines that would help staff, faculty, and students communicate with inclusive language to create that welcoming environment. And so our group has attempted to address this issue. Our process began with researching whether the college has any language guidelines. Though the college has a policy for communications guidelines, which is Regulation 213, passed in July 1998, such guidelines do not exist. So we researched best practices for inclusive language guidelines from other higher education institutions in the US and abroad to see what other colleges do for inclusive language. We looked at those best practices, those other guidelines, and we discussed what information should be included in our guidelines, what form the guidelines should take, who the audience for the guidelines would be, and how the guidelines should be delivered to that audience, where they should be published. So in the rhetorical triangle, we talked about audience, purpose, and genre, in addition to medium. And the outcome was that we decided to publish the guidelines on Blackboard and SharePoint, and CETL has already agreed to add the guidelines to every Blackboard shell once the guidelines are approved, which means that every Blackboard course that you have from here on out would include inclusive language guidelines. First, we started with guidelines for students. And so the primary audience for the guidelines you have read is students rather than faculty or staff. And students would access the guidelines through Blackboard. We might also talk to the library about including these guidelines in class-specific research guides. The secondary audience is faculty and staff who would access the guidelines through SharePoint. And we have also received interest in using these guidelines in employee trainings so employees can use inclusive language in their everyday conversation. But first, we created guidelines for students and to be put on Blackboard. The goal of the document you have read is not to police language, but to help college community members understand why people describe themselves the way they do, and to give them language that would avoid offense when they refer to other people. The guidelines attempt to communicate in international English to be clear to readers whose first language is not American English. And importantly, the information in the guidelines you have read is based on research, not opinion. So all that information comes from a wide range of sources. At no point did we say, well, I think this, so that's what we're going to put in there. All of the information came from current conversations about language. And it's important to understand that our objective during drafting was to represent language as it is used by the people to whom the language refers, rather than to shape how people should refer to themselves. So we looked at the language people use when they're describing themselves, and that's what we represent in the guidelines. Your feedback is incredibly useful. Is the table format useful? Do you disagree with any of the language in the document? Do you think these guidelines would be useful to you? Do you have any other thoughts? And I should say right here at the top how these will be presented on Blackboard. Rather than this 10-page document with one table, we will have in Blackboard a course menu item on the Blackboard course menu for inclusive language guidelines. And when you enter that content area, you will see a page per section in the guidelines. So if you want to know inclusive language specific to gender, you could click on that page and it would just give you that information. So it's not scrolling through this whole document. At this point, I can pull up the guidelines themselves, but because I will be taking notes, it is useful to me if someone else guides the conversation.
I can share my screen if that would help. I've got the document open right now. So let's go with that. Does that sound good with everyone?
Sounds great to me.
Awesome. And let me share my screen. Screen 2. All right. Hopefully everyone can see that. And this is the correct document, right? Hopefully.
I can't imagine that it would not be the correct document.
Yeah, it'd be bad if it was, though. All right. So, yeah. I guess how do you just want me to? How would you like me best to assist you? I guess is on you view on everyone viewing this. Everyone should have taken the time to look at it. But yes, this is good to have a discussion if there needs to be any questions. This is very important to talk about. So yeah, any way that you'd like me to help you best be able to demonstrate or present this material, you just let me know.
Thanks. And the way we've done this with the shared government councils is that usually people just jump in with a comment about anything in the document that stuck out to them. We all have different interests that will lead us to different points in the document that are important to us. So if you have any questions, you can pose them. If you just have comments, please speak them and I will make notes. Thank you.
And does anyone need me to zoom in, or can everyone read this, or is this too? And Senator Yildiz, your question? You're on mute, Senator Yildiz.
Sorry, that always happens. So I have a comment and a question. First, I really like the idea about for students whose first language isn't English, having, making sure that idioms are not used and then just more inclusive language in general is really, really helpful. I do have a question. So with the teachers, will there be some training involved with the inclusive language for them to take? I'm just wondering how it's going to be more strictly implemented.
Sure. We've had a lot of interest from CEDAL, the Center in Excellence in Teaching and Learning, which does a lot of employee training. They definitely want to use this document or a document like it in their training. And we have had similar interest from the Employee Learning and Organizational Development, which does additional employee training. So once this is approved by College Assembly and it goes live, those groups will have this document and use it in their trainings. But that's not something that our DCRC subcommittee is in charge of.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything they'd like to say, to bring up? Please, this is the time.
I would say, and again, Kristen, so good to see you. I hope you're doing great. I would say I do, I agree with everything that has been said, the information. I feel that it's useful. I feel that it's, necessary. In most cases, I feel that even while I was working with student help, sometimes there were some sort of miscommunications while addressing students at some point. But what I was thinking was the perhaps not the Blackboard aspect, but the way that this will be communicated for students. I know that we said that it was not going to be, the whole 10-page document, but I do feel that, and talking from a student perspective, sometimes this information tends to be too much to digest, that sometimes I don't even want to look at it and I'll just avoid it. So perhaps that is something that could be a good point on trying to figure out how to make this definitely part of, you know, either a class or and I know that this idea has been used a lot, but like extra credit if you kind of go over it, or something that will like have the students interacting with the material. Because I would say and it has happened before, like I see the courses in Blackboard, but sometimes, I have five other classes, and looking at other Blackboard tabs sometimes doesn't add up on my mind. So perhaps that would be like the thing that I would say. But I do agree with what Senator Yildiz said, the international aspect, the wording. I feel it's accurate, and it's a lot of good information. It's as digested as we wish it could be, but yeah, that's what I would say.
Thanks, Barbara. That's a really good point. I was envisioning this as a reference because a lot of students have questions about the correct words to use, and so this would be a reference for them on Blackboard. But we can develop conversations throughout the college about how to create more intentional ways of interacting with this. I think that would have to be on a individual faculty member basis, but is this something that you envision could be used in a sort of orientation of some sort?
The way I was, I'm sorry that I know that I saw a hand raising up, but just to fall back, I don't know. The way I was kind of looking at this was, um, perhaps even like using clubs, like student clubs, to even promote that message as well through those spaces. But, even in orientations, or, just perhaps even at the beginning of a class, like the first time a class starts, have the professors like reiterate that, this in the class we're going to use the inclusive language. If you want to find more information, or if you're curious, either come to me, or go to the guideline or the reference, and we point them out to this document. That could be an option.
Senator Willis?
Good evening, everyone. My question is it also possible, since this is supposed to be a resource, to have that document available through the Madison College website? If someone did a search, maybe for language or something like that, or whatever, but would it be something that could be searchable from the Madison College website? Because you're going to have the same thing potentially with potential students and other stakeholders who may visit the college's website, having, you know, maybe looking to see if we're more inclusive or exclusive. And by seeing a document like that, it might actually help them understand that we are trying to be as inclusive as possible.
Yeah, Kristen.
That's a really good idea. I don't know how easy that is. You're 100% right that this is important to showing. It is important to help the college show its commitment to equity and inclusion. I don't know how easy it will be to have it posted on the public facing website, simply because they've tried to move so much to SharePoint. But that is something that I can explore. It's a good idea. Thank you.
If I may, I think that you have a good point about the SharePoint, but at the same time, when I'm taking phone calls for Rise and the Student Success Center, I mean, we reference the Madison College website as a guide for us to find things for the resources for the students. And it's just like a database full of just, tons and tons of useful, you can find anything really. I would have only assumed that if this, this is draft, it gets passed. I mean, there would be some sort of uploading it onto the website that is public facing. I also would like to say that VP Moreno, that's very very good thought about the maybe getting it out to all the other student organizations as well. Like fully, having this language, just transition and become one. Like and making it more completely open. I don't know, that was very good thought. Anyone have any other questions? Hopefully I'm not going too fast, trying to make sure that it's not so fast that people can read. If there are things in the chat, I may not see them. Senator Zebel?
Yeah, so I have a question about the committed suicide section. You have under, I don't know if you want to scroll through real quick, Sean, wherever it may be. Under the use the term instead of, it says died of suicide. To me, that's a little strong word to use to represent that. I feel like maybe could we change that to passed away, or passed away due to suicide or something? Because to me, with how many suicides I've had to deal with, died of suicide is just more of a, I don't feel respected in that way of it being said that way, if that makes sense.
And yeah, Kristen, you can respond. You don't have to raise. You're our guest. You don't have to raise your hand, or you can really respond.
Okay, I can add passed away because of suicide or passed away by suicide, but I would leave died by suicide because that is the journalistic term. That is the acceptable term that is used in public conversation about suicide. And so it might not be what someone wants to hear on an individual basis, but if you need to refer to a suicide in your paper, died by suicide is the preferable term to committed suicide. According to
yeah, that was my next question, was if that was the political actually correct thing to use, and I can't really change that if that's the way, you know what I mean? But okay, that makes sense.
Senator Sobranik?
I have kind of this is kind of a little bit of a question mixed in with a little bit of an opinion, but do you think that saying, refusing to use the term committed suicide, instead choosing died of suicide, might set the kind of, I guess, it sets the wrong message by its kind of, I guess, it's like do you think, I think it is, wouldn't it kind of set the wrong message by saying that there's nothing really wrong with committing suicide, or kind of destigmatizing the action of committing suicide? Wouldn't that kind of set the wrong, give the wrong idea, to, because I think, isn't it kind of already isn't committing a suicide supposed to be an action that's not good, like a bad action, something that's morally wrong?
Yeah. It isn't, to add to that, isn't, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Isn't committing suicide technically a crime? I mean, that's, I don't know. Maybe that was just how my grandpa did kill himself, so he did commit suicide. So that's how I've always referred to it. But I was always told, I guess my parents just giving me a hard time by saying it was against the law. So I always just that's how I took it. But yeah, um, that was just my little add on to that with Senator Spranik. You can respond, Kristen, or I'm gonna. I know that.
Has a hand up.
Yeah, but I think Senator Yield does has her hand up first. Yeah. Senator Yield does.
I'm so sorry. Okay. So to add on as well, I do agree with using the term died of suicide instead of committed, because it's more so like if you're talking about something, it does affect the family. And there's a lot of, committed implies a crime and or a sin. And those might be really hurtful for someone to hear that whose family, someone in their family did die by suicide. And then here, like in saying that they committed it, and then as if that's implying a crime. I know a lot of us, or some of us, might have had somebody who had done that before. So I do think it is more of an inclusive term. So that's just, that's just my view.
Yeah, Lucia.
Yeah, thank you. I hope I can bring in just a perspective here. I think the intent of this subcommittee to create some inclusive language guidelines is not necessarily to get into the debate about whether something is, the morality or the sin. There's different opinions about that. I think it's a way of using language, in very clear language, that doesn't create that kind of judgment. Committed a crime is a common expression, the use of the word committed. So that's the intent here, is to find a different word so that it isn't implied. It doesn't put a burden perhaps on friends or family of something that was done, that's hard to talk about. I mean, this is a really difficult subject area for many people, for religions, moral, there are lots of reasons why. So how to take out that judgment in language is kind of one of the points in this, right? Is how do you use language in a way that's inclusive, non-judgmental, non-offensive, and that's the important part of that.
All right. And any other questions? I didn't get to the bottom of this. I know that was my mistake here.
Well, can I jump back into the debate? This is Kristen.
Go for it. Yeah.
You asked if suicide is illegal. I don't know when your uncle died. I'm really sorry about that.
And my grandfather.
Your grandfather. I'm sorry. It might have been illegal when he killed himself. The problem with language, but it's not now. It's not a crime. And the problem with language is that it is both incredibly personal and entirely shared. I didn't mind using the term committed suicide until I had a friend who died by suicide. And then for reasons beyond me, the term became incredibly offensive to me personally. And I just wanted to say that she killed herself because that was the accurate description of her actions. But I include it simply because that is the direction of the mental health community. I am simply representing the language that is preferred by the mental health community, and that is being picked up by, journalistic and public writing.
Yeah, definitely. I don't mean anything. I mean any against anything. It's just how I. This is in 1996 that this happened. So, but yeah, no, I am completely for it. And yeah, and you, I mean, you guys heard me say it. I refer to it right off the get-go. I say kill himself. I mean, like it just becomes like that's just how I, But yeah, you're right that words are very impactful, and yeah, we all have to we all share them. So yeah, this is all good stuff. There's nothing bad with any of this. I think the majority of us, if not all of us, seems to support it. Yeah, I when I see VP Moreno's head nod, that usually is a good sign that we're good. So any other questions? I mean, this is the time. Please use it. You have something you have to say? Yeah, Kristen.
Sorry, it's hard to not raise my hand.
No, it's all right. I appreciate it.
Well, this document is aimed at students, and So student input is very important, but we are getting to the point at which we need to make final revision.
You still there? That wasn't just me, right? Does show now it shows you muted, Kristen. Mm,
I'm sorry, I cut out there.
Oh, there we go. We're back.
Yeah, so if you have any ideas about how I can gain greater student input and feedback on this, I would love to hear your ideas.
I think the biggest way would be to start with having all the other student organizations be able to look at this document, review it, and give their input as well. Because you range from athletics to performing out. You have wider range of different types of students that I think that would be very beneficial to making sure this document gets everything it needs to be good, to be its best. Senator Willis, question.
Not a question, a suggestion. Potentially, as a member of multiple student organizations, I would recommend considering doing like a loop out, a virtual loop out, advertising it in the Clarion, and even posting it in like Wolfpack, and ask for students to look it over and give you feedback, and have a hard deadline as to when you need them to give you feedback, and try and get it that way, because it's not a survey, but at least it lets them know that you would value getting insight from them, and you're trying to have a greater or broader student body input into this, and make sure like advertise it even like in the regionals and the other campuses, to make sure you get input from as many as diverse a population as possible.
It's VP Moreno. You had a question?
It's also kind of a suggestion. I did like Katrina's idea. It might be complicated to get student input that way, just because again it's kind of like putting all this document out there. Who's gonna want to stop and read it? I mean I'm certain some people will, but talking just about general student population, I do feel that President Green's like way of promoting it might be a better option, in the sense that we could make it like a requirement for the student organizations. So let's say like it's a requirement that either the members have a virtual meeting where they go over the document and give out their opinion, or just members doing them individually by their own time, but they have like to give feedback, just kind of making it a requirement that way, so that eventually you are going to get input no matter what, and that might definitely help. Kind of like have it like a requirement of the month for clubs, maybe even like a requirement for the clubs this like time is going to be to go over the document and give input. That's an idea.
Senator Willis?
Thank you so much for pointing out, VP Moreno. The other, I guess, suggestion would be potentially maybe touching base with instructors, and maybe making it an extra credit type assignment that could be posted in Blackboard or something like that. So again, you can get it beyond the student leaders, because we represent a small percentage of the student body, and I'm trying to push it toward a greater, a larger portion of the student body, to try to get some more ideas other than from those of us who are always involved in everything, trying to get some of the other students' perspective, because we may hear or see something that none of us have thought of. Just a thought.
No, agreed. Definitely agreed. And the Clarion was a Wolfpack. I think those were all. I thought those were all pretty great ideas as well. To help kind of get some more input on it. And I know like some instructors have you do like this like a syllabus quiz or whatever in the beginning. But I mean, if you like maybe another assignment thing or whatever for something for this. So yeah. Um, oh, and yes, we have hit the time allocated for this item on the agenda. So unless if there is a motion to extend the time, we are going to have to say thank you to Kristen and conclude this portion of the agenda for tonight.
Thank
So,
you very much for your time. I think I don't want to take up any more of your time, but these are great suggestions and I really appreciate your feedback. Thank you.
thank you very much for stopping by and doing this. It really does mean a lot to us. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Awesome, awesome. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, stop presenting, and now let's go down the list. All right. So old business items. You have no old business items. New business items. We have no new business items. Non-business housekeeping items. We have no non-business housekeeping items. Then officer and committee reports, executive council report, and President Green. We talked about, we appointed some senators, and I put in there in the chat here, the document that has all of the currently updated senators to councils and committees. If you did not take a look at it, the newly appointed spots have been Senator Yildiz to the Racial Equity Committee. She's chair / co-chair. Then we also have where's the next one? And Joe, if you can just say your name one more time so I can not butcher it for the future.
Yeah, sure. It's Chardelli.
Chardelli. All right, Chardelli. All right. So, and Senator Chardelli was appointed to Public Relations as well as College Assembly. And Senator Yildiz was also appointed to the Academic Council. And then we had, for the Student Activities Board, Senator Sobranik was put on as the primary representative for us for that. And I'm sorry if it's not zoomed in. And then last but not least, Senator Sobranik was officially put on as for Finance Council. So that's great. That's really great news. And this is accessible to everyone at any time on our SharePoint. So please take a look if you're curious as to what's is being occupied and what's open and vacant, so we can get these filled. Especially the standing committee is very important. I know I keep thinking you're seeing my screen still, so that was different. Not worth even circling around. All right, so besides that, what we talked about, I have that open right now. Oh, I guess I could bring it up. I don't know the Student Senate Merit Award. I, in the past years, the Student Senate Merit Award, you would basically, it's someone doing outstanding work or recognizing someone doing a great job, and they would have to put an application in to be in for the running, so nominate themselves essentially, and if they were the ones selected, they would also receive some money. We found out that the money aspect of it, as it is student fee money, can't really be used for something like that. So it would just be more of a honorary title. This I do want to say this honorary title does, it's put up in the display case with all the past senators, and it's kind of a big thing. It's a big deal. VP Saeed can tell you all about it. As he was the top dog last year, along with one of our other senators. So, if you have questions, ask him. But we were just deciding whether or not, if it was worth keeping around, and we decided yes to do that. Besides that, we just reviewed the timeline of things we've gotten done and what we need to still get done, like transitioning documents. That pretty much concludes my report on that. And so then moving down, Administration and Finance Committee. I can kind of just take this one here a little bit too. Me, myself, and Advisor Rome and Senator Sobranik met today for the Admin and Finance Committee. We are trying to wrap up that absence policy language that was first brought to the Senate right before winter break in December, and updating the kind of rough draft, updating the bylaws, and then we will be in the next couple of weeks here. I think right after spring break, we will at the next GA. We'll be presenting. It's probably not called a bill. It's probably called like a resolution or something. That I don't really remember off the top of my head. That we can then officially make those changes to the bylaws and implement them. So that was what has been going on in admin and finance, and we also did present our report to the Student Activities Board last Friday, and it went off with such a big success. People jumping up and down and clapping, and it woohoo! So that is admin and finance for you. Moving down, Legislative and Rules Committee that is currently vacant. Team Development Committee, VP Moreno.
I would say transition documents, and there's going to be some fun things coming after spring break. So I already having some ideas and already made some contacts. So that should be good. And yes, we'll be in contact.
Awesome. Thank you, VP Moreno. And then Public Relations Committee with VP Saeed.
So I just want to quickly update on how did the elections went. They were pretty successful. We had a number of people stop by in the info sessions, and so all the outreach we did came in success. And I think we had a really good number of applicants applying for Senate. And another thing here, VP Barbara and myself are gonna attend the radio show tomorrow. It's like an interview, and it's gonna be from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. So if you wanna listen to it, I could probably leave the station name below, and I think that ends my report here.
It's also going to be Facebook live streamed, I believe, if I remember seeing the email correctly. So
Yeah.
it's another way that you can watch it. But yeah, if you could leave this radio station below, so we can tune it. It's going to be a Senate. I have never known Senate to do a radio thing before, besides our own Clarion next door. So this is kind of a big thing for us. So go the two of you and represent strong. All right, so moving down the list to special reports. Advisor Rome.
Not a whole lot. We're heading into spring break, so it'll be nice and quiet for about a week. Some of the things I'm working on are really things that fall under the Vice President of Legislative Affairs. So getting candidate profiles posted in the Clarion newspaper, communicating with candidates about the upcoming election. We don't have any contested seats, but we do have a president application, one Portage, one Goodman South, and then the rest are for the open, just general Madison College seats. So I'm very excited with how all that went, and I'm excited to meet all of the new people who are joining the Student Senate going into next year. With that said, there are additional openings. So if you talk to anybody who missed the deadline, didn't know what was happening, they can still sort of run a write-in campaign. Specifically, I would encourage them for the seats that are open. It's unlikely that a write-in campaign could win for president, but possible, I guess. So just always keep pushing the good word about Senate out there, because even with a single vote for any seats that are open, they can be elected. So people can write in their own name, they can write in other people's names. So we'll get a maybe full Senate. In the past, we've really had some luck with the write-in candidates getting 2 to 3 each year to fill some extra seats. So don't forget about that piece. And then I don't think we've talked about this before, but the April 15th General Assembly will not be happening. Instead of that meeting, we'll be having a new senator meeting. So anybody who's continuing into next year should still plan to be participating 4:30 to 6 that Thursday, April 15th. But anybody who is not sticking around for Senate next year, you'll have the night off. So I'll remind you again, but I just wanted to make sure that we put that out there about a month out, since that's where we're at. And that's my report.
Awesome. Thank you. And that's a great report. And yeah, every vote really counts. It doesn't matter, just getting the turnout right. All right. So moving down to Student Activities Board with the newly primary representative, Senator Serenic. Take it away, buddy.
Yeah, so we had we just did each organization on the board presented their 3-year plan, and we did ours as well just last week, and that is pretty much my report.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Moving down to housing accessibility update that is currently vacant. Digital equity update. Sarah Zebel, after you give a report, I have something quick to say. So what do you got for us?
You're going to have to make a motion if you want to say something after my report. Just kidding. No, but I got some things. So we're figuring out what to do. We're talking about what we can do about if multiple damages are reported towards a student. So if they have one laptop, they broke it, and they want to replace it, and they get another one, and they broke that one. We're thinking that after 2 replacements of a hotspot and a laptop, so that's 4 devices, 2 laptops, 2 hotspots, the student may be responsible for the payments after that. That's still a work in progress. We're still talking about it, but that's something that might have to happen due to the damages that are being brought back. And we're also starting the Wi-Fi expansion project in regionals. Right now we're gathering data for that. Other than that, nothing new. We are changing our name, if you saw in the email. We would like help to determine which one of those names is best suited for what the digital access team is. I don't like any of those, and be honest with you. There was one called TAPS, which I liked because it was like you tapped into technology with something, but that's not an option. So you pick what you want, whatever works. I think something short like ACE is good for students to remember. Something long like MC Tap or Gadget, people are just gonna not really care about just because we're students. But that's just something to think about. But other than that, that ends my report.
All right, and thank you, Sarah Zebel. And yeah, to add to that, you guys all received an email with the updated GA agenda earlier today with this information. So yeah, the Digital Access Impact Team specifically just wants to develop a more formal name of trying to just express, laptop access, Wi-Fi access, etc. Those are some of the names that were suggested. That doesn't mean that those are the only names that can be selected. If you think of a better name, let me know if there's a top 3. Basically, Tim Casper sent me an email and is looking for me to give him some input on what Senate has to think about this. And he will be doing the same thing with the Student Activities Board tomorrow. So anything that you guys have to say about it, send me an email, please. It would really help me give Tim some information. So just please keep that in mind. But no decisions obviously being made tonight. So other than that, thank you, Sarah Zebel. And moving on down, the Racial Equity Committee with the newly elected chair, Senator Yildiz.
Well, our plans for the Racial Equity Committee are going to commence after spring break. We are going to plan to meet with Lucia Nunez to talk about the racial equities initiatives and then go on and move on from there. I do want to begin the recruitment process right after spring break and start getting new members in and possibly think about changing the time of our meetings to something that works best for all of us. And we'll see from there, see how it goes and how it grows. So those are our plans so far.
Awesome. How it goes and how it grows. I think that's the coolest thing I've ever heard. Good job. And we look forward to hear more about that. Senator Yildiz. So now Textbook Affordability Committee is currently vacant. Public Safety Committee, Senator Willis, do you have a report for us?
I wasn't able to go to the meeting today because I actually had a mandatory webinar I had to attend for one of my classes. Did you make the meeting?
I did not. I had a class, pre-class stuff before a big project, so unfortunately, no.
But I will tell you this, the next meeting is April 15th, and I will be attending that meeting, so I'll give a report after that meeting. So I do apologize for
not
switching my class.
Senator Willis, can you maybe make a suggestion to have them record the meetings so that just like how we have our GAs, after the fact, if our schedules are busy, we can be able to watch those things after the fact or whatever. Just as a suggestion, see what they say.
No, definitely. Well, and the other thing was we had a problem with trying to get the meeting scheduled in the first place, picking a day. And then I think it was like all of a sudden at the last minute, the invitation came through, and then I got the notification that my webinar date actually switched from Monday to today. And that was why at the last minute I wasn't able to attend. So I do apologize, everyone.
It's not a problem. That stuff happens. So, all right. Then let's move down the list. Where is my thing? Here we go. And then WSG, Senator Sabranek, what do you got for us?
Yeah, so we are currently in the middle of trying to vote on our new logo, and you're gonna have to forgive me because I'm kind of a little confused myself here, but we're supposed to narrow down we're supposed to narrow down our top 2 choices for the logo, and I believe this is we do this by campus. Advisor Rome, just wondering if you could.
Do you want me to share my screen?
Sure, yeah.
So I think the idea is that they want each campus to submit this survey sort of as a whole to have one vote from each college about which logo they like the best. So this is going to narrow it down to a smaller number, probably 1 or 2 that will be voted on at the WSG meeting in April. So WSG is an advocacy organization for all of the technical college schools. It brings together students from each of those campuses to advocate on behalf of students, to connect with each other. So there are a few more options, so I can keep scrolling. I think it might be helpful if I make this a little bigger.
I can send the link in the chat for everyone who wants to look at it.
That works too.
Okay.
So don't vote on that link because I think we're only supposed to submit it once. But if you want to view it, you can do that. So there's 1, there's 2, 3, which says forward thinking and the established date. There's this one
Oh, I kind of like that.
and this one. Oh, there's another one.
Nope. Yeah. Wow.
They keep going. They keep going. Okay, that's the last one.
So that's how many is the total? 5?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So what was the blue one that was right before the green one? The green colored
2,
one?
3, 4.
So yeah, I'm just telling everyone right now, I like 2 and 4. So that's my
And you get to do a first choice and a second choice.
I think I'm gonna go with 4 first and 2 second. But you guys do what you want. That's just me.
Agree.
So if I'm not mistaken, are we voting on this then as a whole Senate then? Or
Yes.
okay. So
Are we voting on this tonight? I guess it's
I don't
not.
feel like it's such high stakes that we need to think too hard about it.
yeah, we
Okay.
could do maybe
And hopefully we can just do it. This is the last thing on the agenda, right?
I can make it.
I believe it is.
No.
Yep. Yes, it is.
Okay, so I'm seeing a
So
lot of 4s.
All right. I can make a motion to approve it. Can I make a motion to vote on the first one? On what our first
We didn't
choice?
have this under business, so we can't actually, I guess,
Oh.
I wasn't seeing this as a formal vote so much as just giving input.
Okay.
So we'll give an overall general. We could even do a motion, but it won't really be an actual motion of a community senate decision. So go for it, Senator Sabranik, with the non-official motion. Do we
Yeah.
put out what you think you like, and let's go for it.
I
see.
move to vote on our first choice for the Wisconsin student government logo.
All right. And it looks like I saw Senator Zebel's hand popped up first. I'm looking at that as a second. He's seconding that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to say, everybody now put in 1 through, there's 6, right? Or 6 of them or 7 of them. Put in everyone should put in a
7.
number. 7. Everyone should put in a number between 1 through 7 and in the chat box, and then we'll see whoever gets the most will be the first pick, and then we'll do the same thing for the second pick. Okay. See you later, Joe. And let's try keeping it to only the numbers and not as much chit chat. See you later, VP Moreno. So it looks like Ford's going to be the first pick.
Okay. So if you were going to vote on a second one.
Now put in your second choice now.
And they did mention that it wouldn't always be in color, that they might need to be in black and white at some point. So
well, that really changes up the whole green and blue thing, though, for me. I don't know what I feel then. Okay, SPC a 2, a 3, a 3, a 4, a 3.
I think Barbara said 2 before she left.
So that leaves us with, well, even with that, it leaves us with 3 as the
Good
second
point.
choice.
Yeah, Lucas, pick again.
I apologize about that. I forgot we made it for the first one.
It's all right, buddy. Because yeah, it looks like 3 is gonna be the second choice. Well,
I
5,
think it will.
okay. Well, yeah. So looks like selection 4 will be the first pick, and selection 2 will be the third one. So 4 and 3. All right. Good job,
Okay.
everyone. Good job on the community effort and negotiation through numbers. All right. So continuing
Technically,
on.
there's another part of it
Oh
with a
yeah.
slogan.
Ooh, interesting. Well, let me say it. Forward thinking, working together to better our future. WSG, we advocate. So yeah, 1, 2, or 3. 1, 2, or 3. Looks like Katrina said 3. Eric said 2. Luke said 2. Liam said 2. No, we
I don't think we're
cannot.
allowed to edit.
3. So it goes as 2 3s. 2s are. All right, so far 2 is in the lead. Anybody else? Otherwise, I think working together to better our future wins.
Okay, done.
Good job, you guys. Good job. Pat yourselves on the back. All right, so now continuing on, and I'm pretty positive I think we might have lost quorum now, but we'll still go with it if we did. And I'll let Advisor Rome say what she's got to say before I continue on any further.
Just an announcement. I just didn't want to have anybody adjourn the meeting before I announced.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, not a problem. I'll let you have the last thing before anyone says anything. So announcements. Let's all be doing our virtual office hours and our office hours in general. Let's be getting them logged, please. I don't see why we're not doing this. If we are not, if that is not being done by you, whatever, just we're all in the swing of it now. So come on. Then, and I see your hand up, Senator Zebel. You'll get addressed in a second. That online discrimination training needs to be done by what it looks like tomorrow. This is not a, oh, I don't have to do it if I want to. No, you have to do it. So, if you are having trouble figuring out how to do it or something of that nature, you can let me know. You can let Advisor Rome know. We'll figure out how to make sure that you can get it done, but it's got to be done. All right. So, and it's not too hard. It's very informative. All right. So that said, before I say, enjoy your spring break, Senator Zebel, your question.
I don't know. That's not a question.
Okay, well then, say what you gotta say though, buddy. I
He
mean,
wants to adjourn the meeting.
well, that's not gonna happen without,
Hey, my hand was second, so Rome's first, then mine. So see.
Yeah, that. You know what, Advisor Rome, you say what you gotta say, because I feel like we got
Perfect.
a bunch of players in here that are trying
Thank
to.
you. So this is something that I'm organizing in student life, so totally separate from Senate. I am organizing a craft event. So if there are any people who like crafty things, painting specifically, I'm putting a link in the chat right now. We're going to be painting party animal magnets. So if you sign up to participate, you'll get the magnets sent to you with all the stuff that you need to make them. And then we're going to gather on March 29th, which is a Monday, at 7 p.m. It's going to be super fun. The artist who made the magnets is going to be there, and so you need to sign up by Sunday night if you want to participate, to get your package in the mail. But it's going to be fun. So join me.
Couple questions. What type of painting are we talking about? Acrylic? Are we talking pastel?
I'll put a picture in the chat.
Okay. Because that would be kind of interesting. And I think I see the hands up. All right, so chill out, guys. One last question. Will you notify the people who the profile candidate the pictures that the clarions are gonna use? You're gonna notify them so that they can get another picture done prior.
We don't do pictures for the newspaper.
So it's not. I'm just verifying that that's not. There's not going to be a picture.
Just
of any
text.
Okay. Okay. Then that's fine. That's fine. That answers that question. All right. So enjoy your spring break, everybody, and Sarah Zebel.
What up? Yeah, I make a motion to adjourn.
Motions are made by Sarah Zebel. Looks like it's being seconded by Sarah Said and Sarah Sabranik. A double motion. All those in favor, even though we don't have quorum, please use the hand raising feature now and keep them up. And it looks like it's passed. Well, yeah. Have a great spring break. Be safe. Think smart. Get relax. You guys have done a great job so far, and we'll pick it back up next week on the week of the 22nd. So later, everybody, and I'll miss you.
Have a
Bye.
good spring break too. See ya.